Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos Dibra Maschel Gzeira Mishum Tel Bereshus Harabim. Let's begin by looking at the flowchart of the Gemara so we can see what Tosfos is coming to explain. So here in the Gemara we said that the teaching in the Brisa in the name of Achirim, that a doorstep that qualifies as a Reshus HaYachid is a Reshus La'atzma, meaning that although it's a Reshus HaYachid, a person is not allowed to carry from the doorstep to the Reshus HaYachid on the inside, and from the Reshus HaYachid on the inside to the doorstep. So this teaching supports Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi, and we brought down that Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi presented the same teaching in the name of Rabbi Meir. So that's how the Brisa supports Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi, since the Brisa shows that this teaching is the teaching of Rabbi Meir. And in this teaching of Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi, we added an important part, and that is the reason. Why is it that a person cannot carry between these two Rishuyos if they are both a Reshus HaYachid? And over here he explained that the reason is it's a Gzeira Mishum Tel Bereshus Harabim. It's a concern because of a hill in the Reshus Harabim. We're concerned that if we permit a person to carry from the Reshus HaYachid onto a hill or a post in the Reshus HaYachid, he'll come to do the same thing in the Reshus Harabim, where then it's an Isser Minatera. So this is the part of the Gemara that Tosfos is coming to talk about and explain. And let's see the general outline of Tosfos. So Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi taught in the name of Rabbi Meir that a person may not carry from one Reshus HaYachid to another as a Gzeira because of a hill in Reshus Harabim. So there are two parts to Tosfos. Number one, Tosfos will explain that Rabbi Meir doesn't hold this in every case. Now that we brought the reason that it's a Gzeira on account of a hill, Tosfos is going to say that it's only there in certain cases where there is a concern that it'll lead to an Isser. So that's one part of Tosfos. He's going to explain that this Gzeira is not everywhere. And number two, Tosfos will explain that we don't hold of this teaching of Rabbi Meir. So first of all, he's going to explain about the teaching itself, that it's not everywhere. And number two, he's going to point out that we don't hold of this teaching. So let's see Tosfos now in the flowchart form. So Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi taught in the name of Rabbi Meir that a person may not carry from one Reshus HaYachid to another as a Gzeira because of a hill in the Reshus Harabim. And says Tosfos, and it's in a purple arrow pointing upwards because he's saying something related to this teaching and he's explaining this teaching. Reese says Rabbi Meir doesn't prohibit carrying from a house to the upper floor. The person's allowed to carry from the ground floor of a house to the upper floor, even though he's carrying from one Reshus HaYachid to another. Because a person won't come to carry from a Reshus Harabim to an upper floor. This is not going to lead that now a person will carry from the Reshus Harabim to an upper floor of a house, which is Asur Min HaTorah. And the reason is because the walls are distinguishable and people won't come to make a mistake. People could notice that the upper floor of the house is considered a separate area from the Reshus Harabim. A person is not going to make a mistake and think he's allowed to carry from the Reshus Harabim to the upper floor of a house. And Tosfos continues and explains, it's specifically by a hill in Reshus HaYachid. They made a Gzeira because of a hill in Reshus Harabim where there are no walls. It's by a hill or a post, where it's just standing there in the Reshus Harabim, where then there's a concern that a person won't see it as a separate area. He won't see it as a distinct and separate Reshus, and he'll come to carry in it. And therefore they made it Asur in the Reshus HaYachid, and this way it'll avoid that a person won't do it in the Reshus Harabim, where there it's actually an Isser Min HaTorah. And Tosfos supports this by bringing down that in Eruvin it says that Rabbi Meir didn't say his teaching by movable objects. So we see two things. Number one, it's supporting what we just said, that the teaching of Rabbi Meir doesn't apply everywhere. As we see that in Eruvin it says that he did not say his teaching by metatlin, movable objects. Tosfos is also bringing down to us over here information about the teaching of Rabbi Meir, that it doesn't apply by movable objects. And now Tosfos moves on to the second point, and that is that Reese says that even though we follow Rabbi Meir by his decrees, when Rabbi Meir has a Gzeira, we follow him, even when he's opposed by a rabbim. Even if the majority oppose him, we still generally follow the decrees of Rabbi Meir. And Tosfos brings the proof to this. Like it's proven regarding what Rabbi Meir said, that a person may not stay married even 1 hour without a ksubah. And we follow Rabbi Meir in this teaching, even though he's opposed by a rabbim. Says Tosfos, nevertheless, here we don't follow Rabbi Meir. So we don't follow this teaching of Rabbi Meir. And a person is allowed to carry from one Reshus HaYachid to another Reshus HaYachid, even when it doesn't have walls that distinguish it as a separate place. And therefore it won't be an issue of Reshus Harabim, even when that's not there. And there could be a decree in the Reshus Harabim, we do not follow Rabbi Meir, and a person is allowed to carry from a Reshus HaYachid to a post in the Reshus HaYachid, he's allowed to carry to a hill in the Reshus HaYachid, and he's allowed to carry from the doorstep that's a Reshus HaYachid to the Reshus HaYachid adjacent to it. And Tosfos supports this by bringing a proof, saying, for an Eruvin, we clearly rule like Rabbi Shimon that argues with him and says a person may carry from one Reshus HaYachid to another. So clearly, we do not follow Rabbi Meir. So just to summarize, Tosfos began with one point which is that Rabbi Meir didn't say his teaching everywhere. It's specifically in cases where there's a concern that it'll lead to an Isser Torah in the Rosh Hashanah. And he brought a support to this from Eruvin, where we see clearly over there that Rabbi Meir did not say his teaching everywhere. And the second part of the Tosfos is that although we generally follow the decrees, the Gzeirus of Rabbi Meir, even when he's opposed by a Rabbim, over here we do not follow him. And Tosfos brought a proof to this, that in Eruvin we clearly rule, like Rabbi Shimon, who says that a person is allowed to transfer between one Rosh Hashanah and another.